Hey folks, Justin Thayer, TeamThayer.com. I am with longtime Team Thayer member, a protege of sorts of mine, kid I've known since 6 years old, Jordan Yates. Jordan Yates currently is ranked number 5 in the world for competitive online video game playing, competitive Minecraft PvP. He ranked number 5 in the world. It's a competitive form of this super popular game, and you know, he is I would say an anomaly in gaming, and we're going to get right into the topic of the day. Jordan, what's our topic for the day?
Dare to be different.
Dare to be different. Hey, you know what? Everybody's heard it, but do people live it? Not really. So I'm going to just give a brief story, and then we'll go into some back channels, if you will. So the first time that one of the most critical decisions I had made in my life was when I decided to quit working at a titanium foundry, which was a steady, good job, good income from the area that I was living in. You know what? It was good work, and it was above average income. I had an above average income. You know, it was a dangerous job and it was a hard job, but I worked my way up to a supervisory position. I had benefits. Right at the time, it was well over the average pay grade for most people in my town or area or county. And I got the job out of high school. It's kind of all I knew. You know, even in high school, I learned to weld there, and it was kind of, for me, I knew college wasn't really an option. It wasn't going to be the avenue that was going to be best for me. So I really invested a good 10 years working at this titanium foundry, and then in 1997, I told everyone, hey, you know what, I think a good idea is I'm going to quit working this job with my benefits and my income and profit sharing and 401k matching, and I'm going to sell cars. Jordan, how do you think that went?
I think it went pretty well, I would say so.
But how do you think people took it when I said that?
They probably thought you were crazy.
Hey, everyone knows it went well now. Right? But at the time, not so much.
Yeah.
At the time, you know, the feedback was, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Do you have any, what? And you know what, I was thinking one thing. I work harder than everybody else. I felt like I was doing more, working harder. I was more productive, right? My production numbers were by far greater, but I didn't make any more money, right? At the time, in that particular, I was a foundry supervisor, right? There were two other foundry supervisors, and that's in the foundry itself, where we melt the metal, right? In the titanium foundry, there's different things. I was actually in the foundry part of the foundry, but you know, it's only a small component. Out of the 3 supervisors, right, my production was much greater. However, we all made the same pay scale, and the pats on the back, even though they were funny, I liked them, and right, it wasn't translating into money, right? They actually were able to give me a little bit over what the other guys were making, but it was insignificant. It was really insignificant for the amount of production that I was having my crews do over the other people, and they would kind of come and go, and I was consistent. So that was the whole concept. I wanted to be in a position I was in control of my income, and what I did directly affected how much I made. And that was the whole concept. People didn't get it. It was different. It was a different concept. What do you mean car salesman? You know, like running around in a plaid coat, right? People didn't get it. I dared to be different. I did it anyway, right? With very little support. I have a few people who said, you know what, Justin, actually that's a good idea for you. That makes sense. Few people. But even if not one person would have said it, I probably would have done it anyway. Because I was just committed to the idea of expanding, and I thought, man, I want to get into sales. I think I'd be good at it. And I remember in 1997, I went to the library, got some sales books, and even before I quit, I was studying sales. Best decision I ever made, and it was different. I completely went against everybody's advice on it, and did it, and it was a huge success, right? That translated into the real estate, investing at first, because I was making good money at cars, and then getting my broker's license. Now, you know, when I wanted to get out of cars and into real estate, obviously at that time there wasn't as much, are you crazy? However, really a lot of people were not supportive. And these are people, my peers in the car business, my employers, like, no, you know, I think a handful of people. More than, they didn't say I was crazy, but a handful of people really supported it and thought, hey, you should go for that. For various reasons, but mostly it was kind of, that's different. You're going to leave this. So I've been in cars sales about 10 years. And I was going to leave this industry, which I put so much time and effort into, and go ahead and jump into real estate. And it should have been a no-brainer. But it was different enough to where most people didn't support that jump, right? Then I'm in real estate, and in the real estate community, I've been different once again, and had massive success by having I decided to have a different business model than the typical business model. When I started doing YouTube videos and did this channel, I was discouraged enough. For the first time in my life, I was discouraged enough. I had such a people telling me it was not worth it, bad idea, it was a waste of time. People just didn't like it, other realtors didn't like it, that I actually shut my first YouTube channel down. Right when I was taking off, I shut it down, and it took me months. I went 5 months before I started another YouTube channel that about real estate, and you know, I added the success component. But you know, the reason I even started it up again was because I had I liked YouTube, because I liked watching stuff on YouTube, and I like to study, I like to watch documentaries. There's a lot of information there, and I was having people message me on YouTube saying, "Where's the real estate videos?" I had people saying they're disappointed, like, "Why'd you stop?" And these were just regular people. I don't, you know, not clients, but just regular people, right? And I decided after talking, I had a few realtors. I had a really smart guy, right, who, you know, is a mentor of mine, tell me, "Yeah, Justin, I think the videos were a good idea. You should probably start doing that again." So I started doing it again, and then it's been massively successful. Especially the different way I approached the virtual tours or the home walkthroughs. Okay, so that's just me, right? That's just me going against what people are telling me and being different, and it paying off. And I'm sure there are times that it's just not smart. Some people are giving you good advice, but what I find is like that the chatter and your peers, and sometimes even your parents or your bosses, don't give you good advice. So I have learned to take no advice at face value. Now, one of the things, and this came later, right? And this is something I've discovered within the last 4, 5, 6 months, when I really started studying successful people. Jordan's been one of these successful people, right? Who, you know, with this whole Minecraft thing, it's kind of blowing my mind what's transpired here. Because like Jordan can tell you, I was one of those people. I thought the video game thing was laziness and it wouldn't go nowhere and a waste of his time, right?
Yeah.
And I went, you know what, when I seen his commitment to what he was doing, and I seen that he was actually putting videos out on how to do it, I was like, hey, you know what? There's something here, you know. And I think I watched my youngest boy watching these Minecraft videos, and I'm seeing these guys with 5 million views, right? And I'm being monetized at one time. I added the money up in my head, you know, about how much money about 5 million views get you on a monetized, commercialized YouTube video, and I was like, holy moly, there's something to this. And then, you know, But I've been there. I'm the first one to say humans are flawed, and I was judgmental, right? I'm kind of a stubborn guy. You know, I think my advice is great, but sometimes even I miss the big picture, which he did not. Now he's successful in that. But there is a thread that runs through all successful people, right? And I've noticed this, and there's several threads, right? So there's one main thread that I think is one of the most important things is if you can go from Einstein to Nikola Tesla to Tony Hsieh, Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, the list goes on. You just name the successful person. You name them. And I've probably studied them or read their books or one thing or another. Everything from rock bands who are massively successful to, clothing designers, who are massively successful. And there's one main common thread. There's a few main common threads, but the one we're going to talk about is being different, the one that we're talking about. They weren't afraid when everybody was telling them that's not going to work to push on. And it's almost a fact. In my head, it's a fact. One of the things that I learned very recently, there is, I believe it was Joe Salatin, one of the billionaires, one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. I think it was Joe Salatin who said, basically he said this: if you go to your neighbor's house and tell them about a business idea you have, and they think it's a good idea, right? It's too late. You probably shouldn't do that idea. Right? Yeah. However, if everybody thinks you're crazy, you're probably onto something. Okay? Now, that's not always the case. I know a lot of people who have had some crazy ideas, and you have to have logic-based and fact-based information. Hey, but I can tell you, for me, being what I would think is a very successful person, right? Telling Jordan that kind of making fun of him. Sometimes I might be not perfect for playing video games so much, and there's nothing to that. I was completely wrong. As have been other billionaire entrepreneurs. When somebody came up with an idea, they forget that, hey, that was me at one time. That's how we got here. And I can tell you what, I remember as a kid there was this thing called the pet rock. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Pet rock, right? This thing, it was the stupidest thing in the world, and I don't know how they did it. I don't know if they can even do that now, but they made millions of dollars off of rock with some ice glued onto it, right? They made millions of dollars on this pet rock, right? Now, could you imagine the guy who invented that? Can you, or came up with that, invented it and marketed it? Can you imagine if he would have listened to everybody? Could you? Could you imagine if there was no? No, it worked. He ran with it. All right. Not every idea is going to be a winner. I've had marketing ideas that weren't the best and strategies that weren't the best, but when I track my results and I cut them off. But what I don't do is I don't take other people's advice on whether my idea, an original idea, is good or not. That's untrue. I do run it by people and I'll gauge advice, right? And I'll gauge answers. Some people, if they say it's a good idea, I'm like, perfect. And then I'll ask other people, right? To hopefully they're going to say it's a bad idea. So certain people who think it's a good idea, and then certain other people think it's a bad idea, I'm probably onto something. But I may have done that. But dare to be different. There is not one successful person, from Steve Jobs, like I said, to Muhammad Ali. He was different. He changed the face of boxing. Dana White with the UFC, right? Different. Something different. Took something totally mainstream that I'm still surprised the UFC is mainstream.
Yeah.
I mean, from a guy who grew up in martial arts and Frank Dukes and Bruce Lee, I'm like to be able to watch the basically Bruce Lee's dream, right, on TV like every weekend is pretty incredible to me. But that's because somebody dared to do something different. I'm gonna take this and take it mainstream. Man, there are a lot of people who have your best interest in mind and are going to give you bad advice, right? And they're going to tell you, hey, that's not a good idea, right? There are a lot of people who are just basically haters, and right, and they're going to tell you it's a bad idea. And there are a lot of people who are afraid of anything different outside the box, or they're afraid of change. They want, right, what they don't understand scares them, and they're going to tell you it's a bad idea. So when you have a good idea, most people are going to tell you it's bad. And if you have a good idea and everybody's telling you it's a great idea, and they say, oh, I got $1 million idea, and everybody says that's great, somebody's already done it anyway. It's not a great idea. Somebody's already done it, right? And that's why everybody can just understand it, right? Except the haters, they'll tell you it's a bad idea, but it's a good idea, it's a good idea, it's a bad idea. But that's it for today. For me, Jordan, Minecraft, PvP, Minecraft Team Thayer, hopefully.
Yep.
Right? We haven't really confirmed the negotiations yet on what the work ethic's going to be. But you know what? We may have Team Thayer video gaming, a whole Team Thayer video game section. Hopefully. Remember, subscribe. There's a red button up there. Where's it up? Do you see it?
Up there. Yeah, I see it.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Press the button. Comment on my videos. That's how I get my feedback. I want to know. You know, if you've taken the time to watch this, take the time to write a note on the bottom and let me know what you think. Am I a genius for studying geniuses and copying them? Am I a genius for not listening to reasonable people? Probably. Right? Am I a complete... Do you think, man, Justin, you are not successful, right? Your ideas are horrible, and I don't like Abraham Lincoln or Donald Trump. Let me know. I want people to keep me on. I like keeping it honest. I like keeping it real, right? And you know what? I've had comments. Actually, I do like the comments that are rebutting things that I say, because that gives me the opportunity to check myself and see, hey, okay, let me try and argue your point better than you, right? And if I can't prove it, that what you're saying is true, like my videos suck or whatever, right? Right? If I can prove it, then I will make the change. That's the type of guy I am, right? I'm trying to be, because I learned a big lesson here with Jordan. I've learned lessons over my life, to not stick to my convictions. Dare to be different. If somebody's giving me a great idea or saying I should be doing something different, I should need to investigate that. So please leave a comment below. You can you can thumbs up or thumbs down it. Either way, just as long as you push the button. Alright? If you don't like a video, I want to know about it. That's it.
Yep.
See you next time. Jordan, Justin, see ya. I drone too much. One more.